And welcome everybody to another edition or another episode of Come Play With Us Danny, the horror movie review podcast hosted by myself and my sister Megan.
Hello.
Before we start the show, make sure to go to our YouTube page, hit that notification button, and subscribe. We love subscribers. So go to @Come Play With Us Danny show, hit that subscribe button. We love subscribers because they get us views and stuff.
They subscribe.
So they subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified when new episodes drop, which hasn't been in a while. So this has been it's been a few weeks. We've been off with live stuff and everything, but we are back with a brand new movie review with a special guest all the way from across the world, Drew J. Pumpkin Nerd. Drew, welcome to the show. You're on mute, my friend. Unmute yourself, please.
You're on mute. Did you mute yourself? You muted yourself. Here we go. Try again.
It's okay. We've got technical things going on here.
Technical things. He can't hear.
There should be a button that says unmute.
No? Maybe?
There we go. He's unmuted. Drew, welcome to the show, buddy.
Nope, still muted.
Still muted. Why can't we hear Drew?
All right, take three.
There we
go.
We're here.
Welcome to the show, Drew.
Thank
tonight,
you very much.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on the show with me and Megan. I know this is a movie we've all seen. It's one of the movies that just came out a couple weeks ago. We are going to be reviewing Talk to Me. Talk to Me is a 2022 Australian supernatural horror film directed by Danny and Michael. I'm going to butcher this last name, by the way. Is it Philippou?
I think, yeah, Philippou.
Boom!
Sounds accurate. Yeah.
Boom! All right.
Nailed it.
In their feature film directorial debut, this movie was written by both Danny and Bill Hinzman from a concept by Daley Pearson. The film stars Sophie Wilde, Alexandra Jensen, Joe Bird, Otis Dhanji, and Miranda Otto. This movie follows a group of teenagers who discover they are able to contact spirits using a mysterious embalmed hand, only for them to take things too far. Budget was $4.5 million. This has been a box office smash so far, making $26.3 million. Critics and audiences love this movie. A prequel has already been shot. A sequel has already been greenlit. So we are going to see more of Talk to Me coming up, but they're probably in the next year or so. I am going to go last about my thoughts about this movie. So I want you two to discuss before I get into my take on this movie.
All right. Drew, since you were the guest on the show, and I'm going to go ahead and let you take this, I want you to tell us what your thought is. It is an Australian horror film. Go ahead and let us know what your thoughts on this was.
Well, I've seen quite a bit of hype on social media, and it was exciting to see an Australian film get this much traction before it began. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite a fresh take on the possession theme. I really liked that the teenagers were acting like real teenagers at the beginning. It had a real gritty suburban feel to it. I liked the comedy elements. All around, it was pretty exciting to see South Australian Film Corporation in the opening credits. That's quite rare. I went to the drive-in to see it. Great experience.
Oh, very nice. That's the best experience. Yeah.
See, they don't have drive-ins here anymore, and he
they do. They
Where?
do. In Ruskin, which is a little bit south of you and north of me, there is a drive-in movie theater. But we live in a god-awful hot state, which you wouldn't want to do that because even the wind is hot. So I don't know about now going to a drive-in. Maybe like in the wintertime, but not now.
It's Satan's taint here for everybody who doesn't know how hot Florida is. It's Satan's taint. That's about.
I walked outside today and got a nice breeze that slapped me in the face like Satan slapped me in the face with his hand. It was that hot.
I think the heat index or the humidity index was like 107.
Yeah, that's why I stay indoors now.
It's just disrespectful. That's all it is.
Very
all right.
Well, the driving experience was a little different. we had people in blankets and hoodies and Ugg boots with the back of their car open watching the film. So quite the opposite to you guys.
But
So
you guys
Megan,
are
I'm going to
you guys are in
take
winter.
I'm going to take a
Yeah.
14-hour flight over to Australia. We're going to meet up with our cousins Miles and Hannah, and we're going to
Yep.
go to a drive-in movie theater. And we'll meet up with Drew too.
Yeah, no,
Done.
that's perfectly fine. I'm done and over with the heat here. So let me ask you this, Drew. What did you think of the actors in the film? Do you think that they were good? They weren't good? There were some faces that I know that I've seen before. Zoe is actually an actress, or excuse me, they are an actor that I've actually come across before. They have actually starred in 9 Perfect Strangers with Nicole Kidman. Actually, for those who have not seen that movie, it was actually a
I
really
haven't-
weird movie to see. Actually,
I haven't seen that, but I did see that name. For me, it was when I saw Miranda Otto on the credits.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
quite big here and quite respected. She's been in some pretty good stuff. I think she was in Annabelle Creation as well,
okay, okay,
and What Lies Beneath.
okay.
It was refreshing to see her or hear her with her regular accent. She's usually playing British or American.
She
Okay.
was in the Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yes,
was.
she was.
She was Elwyn. She was like the daughter of the king that, like, uh, that she was trying to get with what's his name? The main guy, the king who turns out to be the king.
I don't
Like,
know,
she
but your inner nerd is showing right now.
Yeah, she was in the I think all 3 Lord of the Rings films, or
Oh.
at least 2 of them. She was in the Two Towers and she was in the Return of the King.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
I haven't seen them, but I thought it was funny that you put Lord of the Rings and somebody trying to get with somebody in the same sentence.
Well, she was like the princess of the king that they were like rehabilitated because he was in that trance for a little bit, and then she was trying to get with. Why do I forget his name? I'm having a huge like brain fart right now. She was like Aragon's like side piece, like kind of
his side chick. Is that
his side chick? She was trying to be the side chick in the movie, and he was like, "No, I'm like in love with Liv Tyler's character. I can't do this."
His side elf.
His side elf. No, she's a regular person. She wasn't an elf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should watch
she's
it.
a regular person. Okay.
She was a normie. She was a normie.
She was a normie.
And that's the only real actress I recognized was her, because when she popped up on the screen, I'm like, oh, she's from Lord of the Rings. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
they did okay.
Okay. Well, Evan has a really bad issue with child actors.
Well, hold on. Let's dial that back for a second.
Okay.
These are not considered child actors. These are like, I'm sure all of these actors are in their 20s. So I want your take first, and we'll get to me last. Okay.
Okay. So Drew, you were saying overall, basically, you did like this film. Did they represent Australia? Did they represent, everything as far as like, I know one of the opening scenes, besides the brutal stabbing,
spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen the
movie. Okay, for whoever, for those who have not seen the movie, please don't watch this yet. Spoiler alert, yes, we have the first scene. We have 2 brothers. One who, I guess his brothers escaped into a house party, and then the other brother comes and tries to find him, and then ends up brutally stabbing him in the first scene. So for those who have not seen this movie, that is kind of an eye opener. And then we have the kangaroo that's in the road. Show of hands who thought that she was actually going to run over the kangaroo. Did your hand? There you go, Drew. No, Evan, you didn't think so?
I'll give you my take on that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Drew, how? Give me a little more insight on the movie. Do you think that it's probably one of the best horror films you've seen in a while, or is it something that you think could have been improved on?
Not one of the best, but I have seen a group of them at the drive-in recently, and it was definitely the best of the 3.
Okay.
I liked that it had a gritty suburban feel, because most of the Australian horror films are generally about the outback.
Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek, Road Games as well. There's Razorback. So it was good to have that feeling. The party seemed fairly real, a group of kids in the suburbs. Yeah.
Okay.
That part was fine for me.
Okay. I do have to say I'm not very versed on a lot of Australian horror films, but I shall give my points now. I thought this was a hit out of the park. 100%. This is probably one of the best horror films, and I don't like your face right now, Evan, because you're
I
gonna
will.
really. I think this is probably one of the best movies, one of the best horror films I've seen in a long time, honestly. And I've seen a handful of them lately. And to me, this was a fresh take on a new movie, honestly. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I know you probably don't, Evan. But I know that I couldn't really, I'm sure there's other movies that were pieced together to put this movie. Like, my wife straight out said this was kind of like Truth or Dare. Granted, yes, it's kind of like that, but I think it had a better spin on it than that movie. So that was my take. Evan?
All right, so I guess maybe after you, what I say is probably going to be nitpicky
It's always
because,
nitpicky. It's fine.
well, so I will agree with you to a point that it was a fresh take on the possession film because there's been so many possession films and they're either somebody got possessed by somebody or whatever. Oh, and by the way, the Russell Crowe possession film is going to be on Netflix like in a couple of weeks, by the way. So I get to see a Russell Crowe with his fake Italian accent.
It was quite good.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I'm half Italian as well, and he sounded like a lot of my nonno's friends.
Okay.
I was very convinced, and I'm not generally a Russell Crowe fan. I find him a bit arrogant.
Well, then I'm actually looking forward to it because I saw it pop on Netflix. I'm like, okay, I'm now okay to watch this for free, so I don't have to like waste my money on this film.
This is the Pope's Exorcist?
The Pope's exorcism.
Yes.
The Pope.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Okay.
But
All right,
you are
so-
correct. A lot of people, sorry,
No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Drew, go ahead.
a lot of people who do fake Italian accents do sound like the Mario. You are not wrong there.
Yes, most definitely. I don't know. Evan, you dropped this movie down for so much. I don't know if I'll see it, but I might.
Well, okay, so going back to Talk to Me, like I had high expectations because the trailer looked really good. Like
The trailer was fantastic.
Slick trailer. I was like hyped up for it. Like, my wife is not she's not like, she likes horror, but she doesn't like to be scared. So she was kind of like, okay, yeah, let's go see it. It looks interesting. It looks pretty good. And I mean, right out the gate, the opening scene was fantastic. That was a good way to start a movie. And I'm like, oh, okay, if this is how the movie's going to start, then we're in for a treat. And I think a lot of the stuff went off the rails for me was when the brother, okay, so after the brother started smashing his head, right? When he started going off, smashing his head, and then bam, he's in the hospital. That's when things for me kind of went, I wouldn't say downhill. I was more or less waiting for something more. I felt like I was cheapened by the second half and even the third act of the movie. I felt like, okay, you set up this premise where possessed hand, you're talking to spirits, like good premise, like talking to spirits, they're going to let you in, you're going to be like possessed for them. I mean, great concept. Not like there's a time limit. If you go over it, you're going to be, you won't let them out. But I think after the brother scene, when he's in the hospital, it just kind of like took maybe almost a melodramatic, like made for TV horror film where like all the jumps, like the scares were not there anymore. It almost became like a psychological like thriller to me. And I was just waiting for more. Like there were some moments in the second half where I really thought it was going to be like, I was waiting for more. And I just felt like they could have done a lot more in the second half because of the way that the middle part where the middle part was where the brother smashed his fucking face in, which was great. It reminded me of Hereditary. I know, Megan, you hate that film, but it reminded me of Hereditary where the mom is smashing her head and like it freaks the son out. And I was like, okay, we're ramping it up now. Like the second half of the movie is going to be balls to the wall, crazy horror. And there was nothing. I was left just kind of like, okay. And then there was a couple scenes where I thought they could have amped it up more, like the toe sucking scene where you thought it was like the gross old lady, but it turned out to be her. And then
reminded me of the lady in Shining.
Yeah. It just became too watered down for me. Like, because there were so many things like, okay, so her dead mother turned out to be an evil ghost because she was telling her fibs about her dad and everything else. And plot hole. Like her best friend leaves her dad there bleeding by the neck. Like her dad's clearly alive, and then she just goes to the hospital, doesn't like call anybody, like leaves him for dead. And me and my wife are like, so she just left the dad there bleeding out? Like what the fuck?
That happens in quite a few horror films. Megan and I have discussed that.
Yeah. So it's like
they give this 7-foot guy one stab and then they run off and leave him. It's like, finish the job. But
yeah. I was like, you're just gonna look at him and he's like struggling to breathe, and you're just gonna go, okay, I gotta go to the hospital. You can hang out right there.
I feel like there were a few subtle hints in the dialogue about the abstract nature of it. For example, now I'm struggling to think.
I feel like
so
go ahead.
With the 90 seconds at the start, they said if you leave it for more than 90 seconds,
they won't leave.
It won't leave. So when the main character went over the 90 seconds, I feel like we were stuck in her possession for the film without even knowing. So a lot of what we saw and thought was the plot was actually in her mind, which leads to the ending.
Okay, so there was some confusion. So my wife and I were sitting there. This like, so Aaliyah, she likes horror movies, but she doesn't like slasher films. So she and I actually went to go see this by ourselves.
Yeah.
Halfway through the movie, she put her phone up, and I'm like, oh god, she's lost it. She's lost, interest in it with her. But then she starts putting her phone down. So that was a discussion that her and I had, was why was this still going on? And why did the young kid still have stuff going on? And my conclusion was nobody blew the candle out. Nobody blew the candle. Nobody shut the door. Nobody shut the door.
I might have to watch this movie again.
I was thinking the same. I need to.
There was no candle blowout. There was no candle blowout. And yes, they went over 90 seconds. But the candle, to blow the candle out, you shut the door again.
Right.
There was 2 parts where their candle was not blown out, so the door stays open, and then they stay with you.
I might have to reevaluate my review on this movie then.
When they visited the brother who got stabbed in the opening scene at the bus stop, he had a line of dialogue that said along the lines of that the little brother would have been fine if they had have just left him. He would have healed. So remember, right at the end, they were in the hospital and Mia was in one of her hallucinations and she saw the brother leave fine. So perhaps it was her possession that led her to see all of these things that didn't really happen. And again, leading to the ending where she is, I don't even want to say it. It's too much of a spoiler.
I mean, technically, so what the Philippou brothers did was this movie is already in production for a second one. Already, it's already started in possession. So they already shot
a prequel. So
I know.
Oh, wow. The prequel's gonna be centered on the brothers from the beginning of the film.
Well, here's my other question though, and this is a question that my wife had, is so the scene where. And this is going to spoil it for everybody who has not seen it. So Mia's dead. Sorry.
Yes. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Okay, good. You said it.
Yes. We get it out there. So the scene where now she's reaching her hand out, and a guy who I think it was it French that he was speaking?
I think it was Italian.
Was it French or Italian? I think it was French.
Or maybe Spanish.
One or the other.
Yeah.
So my question is, where the fuck? How did
how did they get the hand? How did they get the hand? Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. At the end, I'm like, okay, well, how did they get the hand? Is there multiple hands?
Or see, and that was Aaliyah's question: is there multiple hands? And one of my things was, and this is kind of nitpicky for me, was I wanted to know more about where the hand came from.
Yes, well, I think that's what
they'll flesh that out.
I think that's what the prequel is going to do, is probably set that up, and then maybe they'll even flesh it out in the sequel. That's going to happen too, as well, just to kind of give like a backstory about the hand. I might have to reevaluate my whole.
You're going to have
my whole review about this film. I might have to rewatch this fucking movie.
You're going to have to rewatch it.
Now that you guys have pointed that out, yeah, I can see some of that now. Where, God damn it.
No, it's fine. They did that movie trick where they go between reality and the character's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this about the film. I mean, the acting overall was superb. Like all the actors in the movie were great. I did not get annoyed with any one of the characters at all. I think every one of those actors and the actress playing Mia she was great. She carried the
She was
film on her back.
fantastic.
She was great. All the supporting characters were great.
Mhm.
Drew, I agree with you too. Like the grittiness of the way it was shot too. It almost reminded me of like, I wouldn't say found footage films, but like almost in the vein of that, because it was like, I think this movie was shot either on an iPhone or was shot on a lower res camera, because just the way it was filmed, like you have those low level lights, you have those colors like the gray, the grays and the blue hues in each
Mhm.
scenes. So, I think for a directorial like debut, pretty good film. Obviously, I might have to rewatch this film because there's like so many tunnels I could go under to see this.
Well, there's several tunnels you can go into, and that's why I tried to pay attention to the movie a little bit better. And he's gonna jump off for just a second. So I actually tried to watch it with a kind of an open mind, because these two guys that produced this film are actually they're YouTubers.
Yeah. For
And
comedy
so
skits. Comedy
yes,
skits.
for comedy skits. So a lot of times when you have YouTubers that produce movies, or you have comedians that produce movies, especially horror movies, it doesn't turn out right.
Are you
But
trying to like get like take shots at Danny McBride and David Gordon Green because of Halloween?
most fucking definitely, because they get under my skin. But I think this had enough loopholes, but it had enough to where you weren't going, the fuck?
Okay.
Like, what am I watching?
Okay. So you guys liked it. I'm undecided right now because I might have to go watch this for a second time.
You're gonna have to watch it again. I don't know what else to tell you.
I feel like a lot of the gaps will be filled in when you do watch it again. I think it was more subtle than we gave it credit for.
You know what, Drew, I think so too as well. So
yes,
I'm glad that you
definitely
brought up those points, because now that thinking back to it, I'm like, yeah, that's probably true, and I'm a dummy. So
you're not a dummy. It's okay.
Well, that explains all the hype it's been receiving, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so too, because like I think going into this film, I think a lot of us wanted to see, including me, like a lot of like more bloody stuff, more possessional kind of things, more like jump scares. But now, like the psychological horror of the film, where you're like seeing it through the eyes of her, kind of makes sense now.
I like the subtleness of it, though. I didn't think that it had to be too much,
Right.
where you're kind of like, there's like you and I constantly talk about just movies that have so much shit thrown into one scene, or so much thrown into one movie, and then all of a sudden it backs out and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh, so by the way, no, I did not. I thought the kangaroo was going to come back later in the film to haunt her. Like,
what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it was there in the hospital.
Well, I thought the kangaroo was like going to maybe get up. Like when they first found the kangaroo, I thought the kangaroo was going to actually get up and walk away. But then I was like, all right, it's probably not going to do that. And then I was like, okay, maybe the kangaroo will like appear later on, like attack,
it did
like that. I know.
It was in the hospital.
Well, I thought it was going to be like one of those like zombie kangaroos would attack her in a dream, and with her little baby Joey. And
you're reaching.
I know.
There's always room in the sequel or prequel. Always room for that.
There you go, Drew.
It's a possibility.
I mean, look, we like to come up with our own, plots and storylines for sequels. I don't know if Megan's told you about my Scream 7 idea, but
no,
but I'm interested. Please go.
Please enlighten.
Well, let's get into movie news first. So, movie news.
We'll make that the end of the show, because
yes,
it's a minute.
Speaking of Scream 7, the filmmakers of Happy Death Day will officially be taking over to direct for the directors from before, for Radio Silence. Radio Silence will be dropping out due to scheduling conflicts. So Christopher Landon, who directed Happy Death Day and Freaky, will be in talks to direct Scream 7. Thoughts and opinions about this directorial change?
Drew, I'll let you go first.
Okay. I do like Happy Death Day. I did really enjoy that. I'm not too fussed. I feel like whoever will do it will try to honor Wes Craven's original vision, like the other guys did.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and I feel like we need Sydney back. We definitely need Nev Campbell. Yes. 6 was fine. It was fine.
Made his day.
The two new characters are quite likable. I love Jenna Ortega. She's very popular.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that. Just Nev Campbell. Just give us her, and then whatever happens, happens.
Stu will be back. Just saying.
Oh, I really hope not.
Oh, see, okay, see. All right.
See.
Should we go down this rabbit hole?
Sure.
By all means.
So
I'm
there
just gonna
was
sit here
no
and
real
watch.
proof that he died in the first one. Obviously, look, a TV gets pushed on your head. You could survive that. Because look, the TV was an old TV. It was one of those giant with the big ass TVs. It was just like one of those little rinky dink TVs.
Mhm.
And you didn't see a body.
Mhm.
Okay. Nothing was carted out. I think for Scream 7, this all comes back to Stu, and Nev Campbell's going to be back, and you're going to have like a final confrontation. It's going to be awesome. Like, remember, she's like kind of like, I wouldn't say in seclusion now, but she's, living her own life with the cop from Scream 3. That's what they said in the last movie with her kids. But
Mark Kincaid.
yeah, it's going to happen. Like, it's got to happen. They've brought back people. I don't know why. Well, we talked about this on our review for Scream 6 when they brought back Kirby, which was unnecessary whatsoever. Like,
She looks horrible, by the way.
And she looked very puffy. Very puffy.
We have different opinions. I really enjoyed her. I thought she was a great
Oh,
character.
she looked puffy, like she'd been drinking a lot of vodka, and they just put her out there just for screen time. I don't.
Who invited you, Trevor? I
Yeah,
really liked it. Yeah.
I'm an FBI agent now. From the time I got stabbed multiple times, I'm now an FBI agent.
Well,
Anyway,
Yeah.
all right.
in terms of Stu, hear me out. Was he hiding in a sewer and no one found him, and then he was discovered by a teenager who managed to beat him up? Does that sound familiar?
Not Halloween ends like. So okay, so I don't know if you.
Oh,
I think that would be a stretch if they bring him back after all this time.
So well, here's okay. I don't know if you knew this in Scream 2.
hold on. Drew, let me disclaim this real fast, just so you know. Evan has like a bromance with the Strumacher character.
No, I don't. I'm just saying, like, this is an ample time to bring him back because of the way the movies have progressed.
Okay.
So in Scream 2, I don't know if you noticed it. He is actually Matthew Lillard is in Scream 2.
He's in the
Yes, but he was
background.
meant to be an extra, another character. Wasn't
But is he
just
really
sort of-
an extra though? Is
This
he
is-
really an extra though? Because he could have been pulling the strings behind the scenes with Billy Loomis's mom. I'm saying.
You're reaching.
It's all a possibility. I think if we see him again, it would be great to see him in a vision in Sydney's mind.
No, I want
I
the
think
real
bringing
Stu.
him back as a real character.
Yes.
Bum, bum.
He'll have his face will be mangled and he'll have one eye drooping down, his scarred face.
You're
Yes.
reaching.
I
You're
know I'm
reaching.
reaching, but it'll be awesome.
Oh God. All right. Moving on.
Moving on. All right. The vampire ship movie, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Previews have not been all that great. Scoring some poor reviews. This movie is likely going to get about a 7 to 9 million domestic start, which isn't all that great. The great concept of the film, obviously, it's the voyage of the ship that's bringing Dracula to the mainland, and they're telling about how the crew basically all got slaughtered by Dracula. The director of the film called it Alien on a Ship, which sounded intriguing, but that's so far it's looking like the ship will be sinking for the last voyage of the Demeter. I'm sorry. Not starting off good. The Meg, on the other hand, also very bad reviews for the Meg, the trench.
Meg 2.
Yeah, the Meg
Meg
2. Very bad box office as well. So that sequel has been tanking as well. So we talked about this on past shows about Linda Blair's involvement with The Exorcist Believer. We watched the trailer, you and I.
Mm-hmm.
We're not excited about this film.
No.
At all.
No.
Or
Drew,
one.
Have you seen the
Drew, have you seen the trailer for Exorcist Believer?
I have. I just noticed that the mother character was there.
Yes, Ellen Burstyn is back.
She's like 90 years old.
Hey, she looks good for
It's
90.
fine.
And she's still ticking. So
I know, I understand that. But here's my thing. You bring her back as an author of a book that she wrote.
Yeah.
There could have been so many possibilities and so many things that you could have done if you were going to bring back her character. Like there's so many other things you could have done. I'm not excited over this. I probably will end up seeing it because my wife wants to see it. So,
Well, we've
There-
both been asking if Linda Blair's character Regan McNeil is going to be back in the movie.
I don't think that she is.
Right now, David Gordon Green has been saying she is on set as a technical advisor for the two girls that are being the possessed children of the movie. But he's also been being vague about if she's in the film or not. Now, obviously, we've seen pictures of Regan in the trailer as
Mhm.
young Regan in the pictures and stuff like that, but there's been no clarification as if Linda Blair is going to be in this movie
Mhm.
and the also now greenlit film of the sequel to The Exorcist Believer. Despite this film not even being released yet, this
What?
movie is already getting a sequel and a possible third movie for a trilogy, just like Halloween Ends.
Why, Drew? I know you have. Go
Sometimes
ahead. Your face.
So
Go
yeah,
ahead.
Drew, I want to know your thoughts and opinions about this. Obviously, with the Halloween Ends series, which was just a fart on Halloween,
Shite is what it
shite
was.
on Halloween.
Yes.
After looking at the trailer, do you think there's any kind of good salvation or do you think this movie would be all that good?
no, it definitely will not outdo the original.
Okay.
I feel
Yeah.
like they're just trying to introduce it to a new generation. So unfortunately, it's
Mhm.
not for us.
Right.
Mm.
They'll put new elements of society in there, and the young people will go and see it and enjoy it, and then probably tell us that it beats the original when we know that's very much not true.
Mm.
We are at the age where all of our childhood is being recycled,
Yes.
Yes.
and
On a
it's
constant
never as
basis.
good as the original. Never.
No.
Oh, see, this is where I can see where if she shows up in the film, it'll be at the last 5 minutes. It'll be post credits if they have a post credit scene where
Ugh.
and like I said this before, she'll kick open the door with a shotgun. Be like, "Hail to the king, baby."
This is my boomstick.
This is yeah.
Well, hopefully that would be a nice addition.
Yeah, I don't understand how you can't involve her in any kind of capacity in this requel of a film, because obviously you have the mom character, but you're not putting in like the actual main character that was possessed in the first film. It doesn't make sense to me why you would not include her unless they're really saving her for the actual sequel, which is going to be greenlit no matter what. Like
They could have involved her in this by making her a fucking doctor or something, like something.
They could have involved her in like almost as an like how Jamie Lee Curtis's character was in the first one, not the second or the third one, because by the third one she's now an author now, and then it's like everybody's writing books about this shit. Everybody becomes an author in these movies. So
Yes.
you could bring her back as like a hardened character like Linda, like Jamie Lee, like Laurie Strode was in the first Halloween. Like they could bring her back that way and maybe help out in some capacity with like the exorcism of the two kids. But like, if you're not going to involve her at all, it's like that makes no sense to me.
There's no point. It's just I don't. Do you have? Can you play the preview up real fast? Because
yes,
I want people to see this. So when when this trailer came out, I was excited for the trailer. I was open minded for the trailer. Look, I understand that you just like Drew said, that you're trying to introduce it to a new generation. That's great. Stop trying to make classics something else, because there's no point in it. It's just you're running around in circles basically. Yeah, for those who can't see this, so now it involves two girls instead of one. And there's the trailer right there.
By the way, we don't own the rights to this trailer at all. This is courtesy of Universal Pictures, so we won't get sued or get copyright infringed.
Yes, please don't sue us.
Yes.
I just think the premise of this so far is kind of weird. They go missing in the woods. Obviously, it looks like some sort of. And see, what is the picture? What's the picture on the ground?
Well, they've also said the original like demon in the original film, Pazuzu, is not involved with this at all. This is a brand new like demon.
What?
So Pazuzu is not involved.
No. See, this has already lost my attention.
It's reminding me of Slender Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And we all know how that turned out.
Yeah, that's true.
So much potential. So much potential.
Oh yeah, there was potential to that movie whatsoever. But I don't get what we're doing here. I don't it's very.
And plus, why 2? Just keep it at 1. Like 2's too many.
No, and see, that was my question: is why bring two characters into this? Why do 2 characters? There's a
Yeah, I
horse.
don't get. See,
There's a
now
church.
we're just hoping like Russell Crowe's character from The Pope's Exorcist just comes in and just flies in and goes, "Hey, make all the way from Italy just to help you out with the Exorcist." That would be cool, like a crossover.
You make him sound like Bubby. Like
Just that's the
still
way
think Mario.
it's the way he sounds in the trailer. It's just so funny to me. I don't know.
he sounds Super Mario Brothers, basically.
Yeah, it sounds like Super Mario Brothers.
All right, moving on. And now that we've slaughtered Exorcist, do we have anything else from you, or do we?
That's it for movie news.
All right, kids. So I have an update for everybody for Halloween Horror Nights. For those who have been following and do know, Universal Studios here in Orlando, Florida, and Hollywood. Now I am a little perturbed because Hollywood has Evil Dead. We do not have Evil Dead. I'm a little pissed over this. Anyways.
Oh, so wait. Universal Studios Hollywood has Evil Dead and we don't get it over here in Florida?
Yep. I'm about to read what we have, folks. Oh, all right. So I'm going to go off and I'm going to read the Full House review, HHN 32, which is the 32 year that this has been going on at Universal Studios. This is the houses. And we were just talking about this. The Exorcist Believer is one of the houses that we have so far. Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. We have Universal Monsters Unmasks, which let me expand on that. Basically, it's going to be Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, the Phantom of the Opera, and the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Invisible Man.
So the old school monsters.
Old school monsters. And for those who don't know, Universal actually put out the first monsters in film, which I think is actually going to be good. Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins. I've never even heard of this. I don't know. This might be one of the original houses. You won't be able to resist going inside Dr. Oddfellow's menacing menagerie of twisted oddities, but the price for you and your friends is steep, the cost of your souls to feed his immortal power. So that's one house. Now we have Dueling Dragons. Choose thy fate. 2 warlocks of great power were tuned into dragons after trying to take Merlin's spell book. Now you and your friends are caught up in their epic battle. You must choose a path and a victor. I'm not so excited about that one. I'm not quite sure what that's going to be like. You have Yeti Campground Kills. You and your friends are about to venture into a 1950s campground overrun by huge menacing Yetis who rip apart anyone who gets in their way. I'm not quite sure how
What?
It's a Yeti. You must flee the Ranger Tower to escape. I'm not sure how Yetis are scary.
The Yeti is like, isn't the Yeti's like Bigfoot's like dumber cousin? Like Yetis.
Yes, it
Pretty
is.
much.
We
Pretty
get
much.
Yetis, they get the Evil Dead. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
The other one is called The Darkest Deal, Famous Fleeting Fears Forever. The blues musician Pine Straw Spruce will have to face the music after meeting with the collector and trading his souls for musical glory. You and your squad will learn the terrible price of fame. I'm actually kind of excited about that one. That one sounds okay to me. And the last one is Blood Moon Dark Offerings. In a colonial era village, moon worshippers witness a blood moon at their fall festival. They take it as a sign to hunt down any non-followers, including you and your Scream Squad. So those are the houses. So Drew, I don't know if they have, I don't know if they have this stuff in Melbourne like this, but we have huge theme parks that have this. I know you guys have Spookers, which is in a different area. I can't think of where it's at. I've seen where it's at, but it's kind of like a haunted house situation. So these are the scare zones. Again, this is for Orlando. So you have Dr. Oddfellow's collection of horror. You have Dark Zodiac. You have Jungle of Doom. You have Vamp 69, Summer of Blood. And you have Shipyard 32, Horrors Unhinged. And that is Universal Studios this year. Like I said, the Hollywood version
seems a lot cooler and awesomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the Hollywood. I'll read off real fast. Is Stranger Things, Last of Us, La Shizuta, Evil Dead Rise, The Exorcist, Holidays in Hell, Tarot Tram, Monsters in Paris, Chucky, Megan, Roaming Horde. Thank God we don't have that because I wouldn't go. So yeah.
I don't know
That
about
sounds fantastic, Chucky and Megan. And
Oh,
Stranger
Drew-
Things.
Drew,
think-
tell me you didn't like Megan. Please
Yeah, I
tell me
thought
you
it was
didn't.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
not bad. It didn't exceed any expectations, but it was kind of fun.
Okay. I feel better now. Because that movie was horrendous. Worst
I
movie
think
ever
the dance won
produced.
me over.
Oh, the dance to Taylor Swift dance? Yes, I'm sure it did.
Yeah,
Or was it
definitely
Meghan
won me
Trainor?
over.
That's one of those. But yes, for those who have kept up with Halloween Horror Nights, they have Universal Studios has now dropped all the houses, all the scare zones. So for those who are going, make sure you get your Scream early tickets. I am not endorsed by Universal Studios at all. I will be going this year, and hopefully we can broadcast live from the park, which would be fantastic. Evan, do you have anything else?
No, I think we're good. Drew, thanks for coming on the show. We've enjoyed you coming on. Definitely we'll have you back for future
Yes, most
episodes. Thanks
Thanks, you
everybody for
guys.
tuning in to another episode of Come Play With Us, Danny, the horror movie review podcast, hosted by myself and my sister Megan. Of course, make sure to go to our YouTube page, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to @Come Play With Us, Danny show for all new episodes that will drop. We will see you guys next time on Come Play With Us, Danny. We are
Bye-bye.
out.
Ooh.
Bye.